Hey guys, ECRG here, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about career paths for study coordinators. So if you're interested in learning about more career paths, stay tuned. Hey guys, ECRG here, back with another video. Today we're talking about career paths for study coordinators. Now this is an interesting topic because a lot of study coordinators feel stuck. They feel like they're stuck at the site level and they either want to get to the CRO or the sponsor level or find out a better way to move up at the site level, which can be very difficult. And we're going to go about some of the career paths that are out there and some of the job opportunities that are out there for people with study coordinator experience. But if you're listening to this and you are looking to get into clinical research or you're looking to enhance your chances of making that move up in clinical research, well, you should take a look at our resume review program because it is the best way, the easiest way to literally, in a matter of a couple days, increase your chances of getting an interview in clinical research and getting that dream job you've always wanted in clinical research. So if you're interested in increasing your chances and opportunities in the clinical research space, email us right now at eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com and we will get you on the path to your dream job. Now, back to the video. Study coordinators have a hard time moving up at the site level because there are other roles at the site level. There are people like site managers. There are different levels of study coordinators. You've got level 2, level 3. But after you've exhausted those different levels of study coordinator, it becomes a little bit harder to become a site manager because typically somebody who's a site manager, they require a good amount of experience for that. And to be honest, not even all clinics even have that opportunity or that role. So, or that role could be fulfilled by someone who's like the owner of the site or a partner in the site ownership. So you're not getting that role unless they sell it to you, or they die and then they promote you, or something along those lines. They leave the company and they promote you, something along those lines. So that is something that a lot of people have been emailing about and wondering, how do I get promoted from the study coordinator position? Well, that is one way, is you can hope to get a site manager role, or you can move to a site where they have that type of role. But like I said, it's not at all sites. But if they do have it and you're interested, then you can once again analyze how to get into that role. But a lot of people that are study coordinators are interested in some of the more CRO type roles. And I feel like getting to the CRO is one of the better ways to get to the sponsor level too. Because typically sponsors want to hire people with CRO experience because really the sponsors want to bring that stuff in-house, want to start bringing the CRO tasks in-house. So they want people with the CRO experience in order to kind of help them facilitate bringing those tasks in-house. So really, I think your best bet to get to the sponsor level is to kind of go do a few years in the CRO world. But one of the best roles for you in the CRO world, or one of the easiest roles, is to become a CRA once you're a study coordinator. And I say that because study coordinators work hand in hand with CRAs. They are some of the people that they have the most frequent contact with on a daily basis, weekly basis. They're there for the site qualification visits. They're there for the initiation visits. They're there for every interim monitoring visit. They're there for the closeout visits. The study coordinators are there with the CRA running the trial. So that is a great opportunity for study coordinators to become a CRA one day. And all the time, the CROs are looking for people with study coordinator experience to become CRAs. I've seen where they come out with these training programs, with these entry-level training programs, where they're only looking for study coordinators. I know this because I've been in a position before where I'm not a study coordinator, never have been, in the interest of full disclosure, but I'm getting frustrated because, hey, I've got CRO experience, but they're only looking for people outside of the CRO. So, but that's a great opportunity for you if you're a study coordinator to take advantage of getting your foot in the door in a CRO through one of those programs. But it's not unheard of for a study coordinator to get in as a CRA without one of those programs also, just depending on your amount of experience. So I say 1 to 2 years, probably lean on the side of 2 years before you can make that jump to a CRO. But it's definitely possible. And I think one of the best ways to do it is a CRA. But there are a lot of people out there who are not interested in traveling. So the next best role to hop into the CRA is the in-house CRA. Or they have other roles out there now, maybe site manager, maybe remote CRA, maybe risk-based CRA. They got all these different type of names, maybe central monitor. They've got all these type of names for them. And that is the next best role for it. Now, what they do is going to be different at every company, but basically they're there to help the CRA. They help collect documents from the site. A lot of remote CRAs are actually monitoring now, so they're going to be monitoring the data. And basically the only 2 things that they don't do are going to be things that only can be done on site, so IP accountability and source data verification. So those are the only 2 tasks that they are not going to be able to do because you got to be on site to do those things. So that is another good route. And of course, the in-house CRA communicates with the study coordinators a lot also. So I feel like study coordinators would have a good chance of getting that role because they work hand in hand with each other all the time, especially if you're doing monthly calls with an in-house CRA person. So that's another great role for a study coordinator. Now, I have another one here that probably a lot of people don't think about, and a lot of people don't think about this when they want to get into the industry. Most people just think CRA, I want to be a CRA. But the third role I have for you is, of course, study startup specialist. Now, you're probably saying, ECRG, what is that? I never heard of that before. Well, a study startup specialist is essentially what it sounds like. Study startup specialist. They're there to help the study start up. So what they do is they collect documents from the site. They work with the site to collect the first round of documents. So they're going to be in there collecting the financial disclosure forms from the PI and sub-Is. They're going to be collecting that initial 1572. They're going to be collecting all of the GCP training from that initial site staff. They're going to be collecting protocol signature pages. They're going to be doing all those documents and all the startup procedures for helping facilitate that for the beginning of the trial. And then once the trial actually starts, they hand off the trial to the project team. And, this study startup process can take anywhere from weeks to months, but they are only on the study for the startup phase. And then they hand it off to the project team, and then they go back to start up another study. So that's why they're called study startup specialists. And it's a good role because a study coordinator is going to be used to handling all those documents. They should have experience working with a study startup person because they are going to be the ones collecting all those documents. Now, not every CRO, because I'm not well versed on every single CRO, but I know a lot of CROs do have dedicated study startup people that hand off the study to the CRO's project team after the study has been fully started up. And it's a great role for people that are interested in, study coordinators that really like the startup phase, or just to get your foot in the door of a CRO, because that can be difficult in and of itself. So that's the third for the CRO role that you can get in. And then we already talked about site manager earlier on, about a role at the site that someone can get if you're a study coordinator. But I think the other 3, CRA, in-house CRA, and study startup specialist, are probably the best ways to get in if you're a study coordinator, and probably the best of your skills. There's also project specialist, project coordinator if you're interested on the project side, but I find that study coordinators have an easier time to get in on the clinical side because that's where a lot of your experience is. You work hand in hand with the clinical team. So I feel like you have the best opportunity to get in on the clinical side of a CRO. So I guess as a distant 5th option, we can put project coordinator, project specialist. If you're really interested in project management, you might be. So that's a distant 5th, but I feel like it's better to kind of get your foot in the door on the clinical side, just because interviewing will be easier, transferable skills will be easier, and just an overall easier transition for you from the site side to the clinical side rather than going site to project side. But it's not impossible. It can be done. So it's all a matter of what you want, what you're interested in, and what kind of role you're really looking for. So I hope this was helpful, guys. As always, like the video, share this video, subscribe to the channel. If you're still listening, subscribe right now. Leave us a review on the podcast if you're listening on the podcast. Got to show the podcast some love. They've been showing love back to ECRG also in the overall channel. So appreciate you guys for listening. As always, if you have any inquiries, email us eliteclinicalgroup@gmail.com for any inquiries you may have. And take care, guys.